All right, everybody, fantastic. So, Command Center Wargaming here. I'm here with the only Adonis, and it's very fantastic he's been able to join us today. I'm going to have a bit of a chat to him about Chapter Approved 2022, some predictions, and also what we think is going to be happening, and general meta in Warhammer 40k at the moment, and where we think it's going to be heading. All right, fantastic, Adonis. How you been?
Hey, what's up, man? I've been doing pretty well. How about you?
It's fantastic. Yeah, I've been all right, man. You know, kicking on, playing a lot of 30k, not much 40k, but that's why I'm going to probably be getting back into it a little bit more now. So I'm thinking about, getting some armies happening. So what do we know? What do we know about? Let's start with Chapter Approved. You're obviously in the ICTs. You're playing competitively and all that. You've had a lot of success with orcs. You've been telling me. So we'll probably start off with that. We'll talk about some Chapter Approved, and then might talk about orcs for a bit. You know, do you think you're going to start playing them, or do you think you're going to not play them anymore? And then we might talk about some maybe some towers, something. So Chapter Approved. What do we know? I heard that there's some new changes to the mission objectives and things like that. Is that true? Like, have you heard that
Oh
as well?
they've changed for the new chapter for 2022. The grand tournament pack at least is changing pretty heavily.
Yeah.
Like, of course, everybody knows about that's the one of the main secondaries people take, retrieve Octarius data. Now it changes with every the name of that specific mission
Yep.
sort of changes with every new. I don't know exactly what they're called, the supplement books, the campaign books.
The Chapter
So
Approved books, yeah, but
it
they are
was
changing.
Octarius.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Octarius data because the two Octarius books, and it's going to be something else, some inward. So it's going to be R&D to retrieve some inward data in the next, and instead of just being something that you automatically can accomplish, it's going to be like it's going to be a role, and you need a bigger unit to get a better role, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So
No, definitely.
like no more just sneaking one guy into the corner and he just automatically does it. One guy in
Right.
the corner is only going to be able to get it on a one up
Right.
or a one down rather, so just on a one,
Yeah. So
and
what's going on with
that's gonna
Knights?
help with that.
What do you think? Is,
So
is it a buff
knights,
or?
yeah, it's definitely a buff. The knights, this was in the data, the update data slate, which is the first of those that I've ever heard of.
Yep.
So a balanced data slate that happened about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. Knights are counting as, I think, the small knights are five man units now, and the
Right.
big ones are 10. For they don't have objective secured naturally, but say you have something on a point, and just anybody can come and take it because knights don't count as bodies on a point.
Yeah. They don't. Yeah.
They
No,
do now.
yeah. Right. Okay. Yep. That's pretty big because it.
Uh,
So essentially. The armagers, I think they're called armagers. Yeah, those little mini knights. They're essentially
yeah,
scoring now. Is that what you're saying? Is it they're
yeah, they're going to be able
scoring
to score.
units? Yep. Okay, that's
Yeah,
massive. Yep, that's huge. That's huge.
but they're changing a lot of the secondaries to make them like the major secondaries that almost everyone takes, like stranglehold, retrieve data, engage in all fronts. You're actually going to have to work harder to get those.
Right.
It's just not an auto including.
Right. Okay, that's interesting because I'm looking here. I've got this faction data chart on, and I'm on 40kstats.com. So, and I'm looking here at they've basically got a faction list that's like to a win and loss ratio. It says here Imperial Knights at the moment. So they're actually on a 48% average win ratio. They're just above mid tier. Would you agree with that, Adonis? From what you've seen in your games, or do you think they're a bit higher or a bit lower? Or
Well, I'm going to say that if I'm in a big tournament and I'm going up against knights, I already knew that I won. and that's not going to be the case after the LVO anymore.
Right.
After the first of the year when the new chapter approved comes out. LVO is kind of like the first game of the year for ITC here in the States. So
Yep.
Las Vegas Open. And that's like kind of that's just the start of the season, so to speak. So there's no real big games left for the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
LVO is going to be somewhere halfway through January.
No worries. All right. Fantastic.
But, yeah, Knights are going to be a lot better than they. I don't think we're ever going to see the Halcyon Days of 8th edition gun platform Knights with a few squads of guards.
Yeah, that Imperial army.
Like an auto win.
Yeah.
So like when you're looking at the stats and stuff, 48 to 50% is pretty decent and stuff like that.
Yep.
But the armies that they have to go against, like I think Drukhari still have an 80% win rate.
Right. Which showing me here, like, I mean, you're probably right. These stats might be out of date. It's showing me here, that Drukhari at 63% win rate. I mean, look, at any rate though, they're still on top, right? They're on the top of the list. So I'll just let you know.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just let you know quickly because I don't know if you could see this or not. But these are the top 10. Okay, so Drukhari number 1 at 63%. Now, Colt Mechanicus is second to Drukhari.
Yeah.
Then third is Grey Knights.
Yeah.
Fourth is Iron Hands. Fifth is Orcs. So that's the top 5, right? And then you've got Chaos Demons, Sisters of Battle or Adeptus Sororitas, Thousand Sons, Death Card, and Harlequins. And Custodes are like just under them on 11th, and Knights are ranking 12th. So how does that sound? Does that sound accurate?
Well, yeah, but if it's taking data from the whole year and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as the codex goes out, they get better.
They're going to get better. So like, how does that compare to what you're seeing now? Like, so you obviously would agree that Drukhari is on top, right? Number 1. So.
Drukhari is probably number 1 right now. Like, there was changes to the succubus spam, succubus and witches and such stuff like that. Am I still there, bud?
Yeah. No, he's still here. Yep.
Okay. So that got a nerf. The main list that everybody had been playing.
Yep.
And but all other units got a buff. So Drukhari are still pretty much the top. And there's several different ways to play them now, which is a good thing. Orcs are really strong. Grey Knights, strong. Admech is still strong, but I feel like Admech's going to fall in the rankings a lot because it's not as point and click as it used to be.
Yeah, sure.
Like, people have to work harder for it.
Sure.
And Sisters are always going to be pretty decent, I think. Like, they're still a new army, you know what I mean? And the GW wants to move as much of that plastic as possible.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be a shift in, like, with the what I'm getting at is chapter approved this time isn't going to be just a reprint of 2020.
Yeah.
The 2020's chapter approved Grand Tournament and 2021, there's almost no change between the two. Like, the missions don't change, nothing really changed.
Right.
But in 2022, things are going to be different. Like, we've already they showed us some of the missions when they did their tour, actual GW tournaments.
Yep.
Here in the States, like the 3 that they did. So, like, a lot of things are going to shake up, and with both Custodes, Gene Stealer Cult, and if I'm not mistaken, Tau are going to get a codex first of the year in January.
That's right, and there's rumors. There's rumors that World Eaters are coming as well. There's rumors of Angron. There's rumors that World Eaters are going to come as well. So we'll chat about that in a bit because I wanted to get your thoughts on that. But I'm seeing right here, it's saying right now, Tau are like 3rd from worst. It's basically saying that like Tau are a very low ranking army. So you reckon, do you think that this Tau Codex that's coming, do you think that this is going to bring them like to the top or near the top or in the top 10? Because I've heard that there's some pretty crazy stuff coming for the Tau in 2022.
Well, just the stuff that they've leaked so far is enough to put them to upper mid tier. They went from being like
Right.
a completely immobile gun line to their to being able to move and shoot as if they didn't move at all,
Right.
which makes them basically the most mobile gun line
Right.
that is in the Space Marine. And you can put a lot more Tau bodies than you can Space Marines. Their weapons are a little bit stronger than your standard bolter. The battle suits are looking really crazy good. So, if the Codex is in line with with what we've seen so far that's being shown to us, they'll definitely be up. They'll definitely be up there.
All right, good.
But
That's good.
I always tell my main group of friends that I play with and stuff, the statistics have to be taken with a grain of salt to a certain degree.
Of course. I'm just using these as a talking point and a benchmark. I understand that they're going to shift. Yeah. Just gives me like a baseline idea, you know. Yep.
Well, like if you have, what I'm kind of getting at is, let's say you only have Tau players in the entire tournament, and you have 15 Drukari. It's not saying that Tau is worse than Drukari because you have more Drukari wins.
Yeah.
You just have more Drukari to get the wins with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. That's
so it's not in a vacuum. So but once again, though, what I'm saying is I think Tau is going to be strong. It's going to be pretty good.
Good.
I don't know. I don't know that it'll be in the very top tier, but it's not going to be in the lowest tier.
So you reckon
it's definitely going to do? Go ahead.
So you reckon definitely like top 10? Though definitely they'll be in top 10. You reckon?
Top 5.
Top 5. Top 5. All right. Yep. Cool.
Yeah, they're gonna. Grey Knights are. I don't think are gonna last much longer.
Damn.
But we've had enough time to figure them out.
Damn.
Grey Knights deserve to be strong, but Grey Knights is a really thin codex in my opinion.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that many tools to work with. And once everyone figured out how to get around Dread Knight spam, your 3 Dread Knights and then 2 character Dread Knights and things like that. Once you figure your way around that, it's not really that.
It's not a big deal. Yeah. Okay. Well, that sucks.
Same was with
for me.
Same as with Thousand Sons. Thousand Sons is a good army.
Yeah.
Grey Knights is a good army, but those armies aren't point and click, so they're not going to stay in the very top.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hate on any Drukari players or anything.
No, that's all right, man. You can hate on Drukari players. We're all men on this channel, but figuratively speaking.
Well, Drukari's kind of like, it does a lot of the work for you.
Of course, man.
It did a lot of the work for you.
Of course. They've got weight of numbers. They got volumes of shots. They got Drukari got dirty tricks left, right, and center. They got speed. Both those armies have got speed. The thing is, I do agree with you, unfortunately. That was actually going to be one of my questions because I was hoping to get some Grey Knight action in next year because I was starting to play again because I bought all this Grey Knight stuff. I have some stuff from last time. But the thing is, and this, you made a very good point, Adonis, and that was that, Grey Knights and Thousand Sons are, they're probably not going to last because they kind of had their day now. And I think one of the main reasons why they're doing okay at the moment, particularly Grey Knights, is because they're 2 of the factions who've got, some of the most recent Codex releases, right? So I think they're going to come down a little bit when we get the Tau Codex and the Chaos stuff and all that kind of stuff. So I think, it's going to definitely bring Grey Knights down a little bit. And I think we were talking the other day over Facebook and that, and I was saying, like, I always look at, GW sales as well in terms of models. And, look, Drukari, in my opinion, they've always had a strong army, if not top army, since I can even remember, like since 3rd edition. And the thing is, because, Grey Knights sell. Drukari models, they have to keep that army competitive because they want to sell models off it. So I don't think we're going to see Drukari going anywhere. Drukari, 7th edition, they were really, really strong, like almost top tier. Me personally, 7th edition, I think Eldar were the strongest, followed by Necrons, but then Drukari under that. Tower also very strong at 7th. 8th edition, obviously Drukari were epic. And then, 9th edition Drukari. So I can't see them. if they do get a bit of a nerf, I think maybe personally they might step down to maybe 5th or something, but I still reckon they're always going to be in the top 5. I don't think they're going to be moving down anyway. So, yeah, Drukhari players, I 100% agree, Adonis. Like, it is very point and click. It is very, basic stuff, and there's not much effort required there if you've got a Drukhari army. If you're playing against Drukhari, you've got a handicap already, in my opinion. They've got the answers to a lot of stuff. So, yeah. All right, fine.
Yeah, I mean,
they're
going to be good. They're going to be good, and a lot of it's going to come down to less about the army being good itself and more like, in my mind, there's like 3 main types of 40k players. You know what I mean? You've got like players, like real players who are there to play, and they're all about just trying to do their best and have as much fun as possible. You've got meta chasers and you got wannabes. Meta chasers and wannabes are kind of sort of the same guy. Whatever's shiny and new is always gonna that's gonna pull numbers away from Drukhari and Admech and the other top lists, because these people are trying to chase the meta. They're not meta makers, they're meta chasers.
They're meta chasers. And it's funny that, because we've often, seen eye to eye this a few times, whenever we go look at new armies or we try to predict the meta. And we actually have had a very good track record. We both predicted...
we got an amazing track record.
Custodes we predicted. We predicted Blood Angels. You then predicted Orcs, and I automatically just said, Orcs are just going to be strong, all that. And even Grey Knights. I remember Grey Knights, when the Codex first got released, and the sooking, man, over the internet about that rule book was just phenomenal. And then now look at them; they're one of the top armies. So we've had a really good track record of picking what armies are going to be performing. And I think one of the things that makes us really good at that, Adonis, is the fact that and this is why I respect you so much as well as being a top bloke and only the Adonis, right? The only one, okay. The only one, is a fact that we're very similar, that we don't just go with the flow. We're always trying to work around, new tactics and new armies, and have a look at, not only, we don't follow the meta, you and I, we create the meta. We look at ways to break the meta to win. And that's the thing, because what happens is that when you just keep following the meta, it just becomes same old, and then you don't have an advantage. But if you look for a way to break the meta, to go in and defeat that epic list that's doing the rounds, then you're going to be on top. You're going to have an advantage. Because otherwise, if you just have 20 people playing the same list, right, at an event, well, they're going to be, there's no one's going to have an advantage because it's all the same. They're just literally playing off against the same thing. So, but anyway, no, 100%. 100% agree, Adonis, definitely. So what do you think? Who else is there? So we got Tower Knights. Any other mentions for 2022?
Well, I haven't really seen anything except for the new data sheets. I like some of the stuff that I'm seeing from Custodes.
Yep.
But Custodes has to be competitive, Custodes have always needed Forge World. Yep. And that I just don't like an army that is that heavily reliant on Forge World. So I don't know how good. I'm not gonna go jump onto the Custodes ship or anything.
Okay.
But they have a good chance of being decent. Gene Stealer Cult, that's a dark horse. You know what I mean?
It is.
Tyranids. We haven't even talked about Tyranids. Let me tell you this that happened the other day.
I heard they're strong.
A friend of mine were talking. Oh, Tyranids are very strong.
Yeah, I heard they're strong.
A friend of mine and I were talking. Oh, Tyranids aren't just strong right now.
They're bullcrap.
They have two lists that are both.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you go.
Super competitive. Huh?
Yeah. Tell us. I'll shut up for a second and let you talk.
Okay. So the other day, a friend of mine here locally in town and I were talking about White Dwarf rules and how White Dwarf, since I started playing, I've only played since about a quarter of the way into 8th edition. White Dwarf rules have always been pretty lackluster and hyped up and such as that. And the very next day after we had that conversation, this Crusher Stampede rules were released. just like White Dwarf smacking me in the face, saying, "Don't you dare say that my rules are terrible."
Wow.
But with orcs, for instance, when I almost got the orcs on accident. I had just come back from the Dallas Open. I want to say it was either Dallas or Lone Star. It was one of those two, and I had ordered a box of beast snagas and forgot about it, and then I went and picked up my box of beast snagas. So I was like the first person in my local meta to have the codex, and I'm reading through the codex, and I tell people, I'm like, freebooters are going to be out of control good, and DACA jets are going to be their meta. Like the 120 points for a flyer with ramshackle, six strength, strength 6 guns that shoot 5 times each. It just what 42 shots in a 40 or 42 shots in the speedwog. I was talking about how great that was going to be, and everyone told me how terrible it was.
Right.
And then you turn around a month later, and everyone's running a freebooter list, and it's so good that GW actually literally puts out a data slate adjustment just to pull orcs back into line.
Right.
Like, the worst shooting army in the game became the absolute best shooting army in the game. And no disrespect to Heath, who I'm sure is a great guy. He's kind of a nobody, and he beat someone who's called the greatest player of all time.
Right.
Yeah. In the SoCal Open.
Yeah.
Beat him in a single turn.
Yeah.
Like, wiped him off the board completely.
Yeah. I heard there's a unit in the Tyranids list. I can't remember what it is now, but it's like a ranged artillery unit. I can't remember the name of it now. I think it was it wasn't a warrior. I can't remember. Maybe you can chime in. But it literally can like wipe.
Card, I think.
That's it. Yeah. Can literally like wipe a Marine squad out in like nothing. Apparently it's brutal. It's so OP.
Yeah, they're really good. Their shooting's really good, but the White Dwarf thing is what I'm more worried about.
Right.
We were talking about how the Knights are counting as bodies on the field for objectives and stuff like that before.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Crusher Swarm or the Crusher Stampede. You can't take swarm units; that's your negative.
Okay.
But all your monsters count as their amount of wounds. For the Crusher Swarm, all the monsters count as their remaining wounds in units on the point, and they have warlord traits and such that can give them obsec. It's just I think their explode rule is called death throws or something like that, like like how a vehicle explodes, well, they explode too.
Yeah.
And you can they have stratagems to auto explode. It's just like the Crusher Swarm, I think, is going to be really good, but it's another one that I feel is going to be kind of really Forge World dependent.
Yeah.
Like, you could run it with just a spam of Carnifexes and stuff like that, but you really want the big stuff. You know what I'm saying?
100%. All right, fantastic. So all right, so Crusher Swarms are things to look out for. I have a massive army of Tyranids. Maybe I should paint them up. So Adonis, what I want to ask you is, as someone who's coming back into 40k seriously, I mean, I never left it. I've still been painting it and stuff like that. I've still been playing here and there, little bits of silly games, but who's someone who wants to get more serious back again into 40k. And a lot of the armies I have Custodes, I have Blood Angels, I have some Tyranids, I've got Ultras. Who would you recommend for me? Like, if I'm going to ask you a question right now, I'm going to say, Adonis, I want to start playing, seriously next year. What army at the moment, based off what we know, would you suggest I concentrate on?
If I only have to pick from what you have, I would honestly take a Marine squad, or if you have the right units for the Tyranid list, and take the Tyranids.
Okay, so Tyranids. What Marines? Maybe Iron Hands. What Marines would you take?
Okay, so I'm here. Like the European meta isn't something that I know a lot, and the European meta has a really strong Iron Hand list. And I haven't really seen it. I haven't gone against it. It sounds good. It looks good on paper.
Yep.
But it could, to be completely honest, man, you could take any chapter. You could make up your own chapter of Space Marines.
Yeah.
If you put like 2 Volkite Contemptors in it,
Yeah.
you're probably going to do well. You know, the
Beautiful.
Volkite's still going to be really, really strong, but you could do even better with just staying away from it. People are figuring it out. The bodyguard rule, I don't think, is going to be much longer for this world. We're going to figure people have figured things out around it.
Right.
GW's actually, that's one of the things about those hive guards we're talking about, the shooting they have. They don't have to see what they're shooting at. You know, they can hit targets they can't see. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's been kicking the crap out of the bodyguard rule. Orcs have rocket trucks that do the same thing.
Yeah.
Any artillery unit can do the same thing. Get rid of the bodyguards. You know what I mean?
Definitely. So what?
So
Yep.
custodes are about to get their codex.
Mm.
Like I said, they've always seemed really Forge World dependent to me. Most of their best units are Forge World units, like the jetpack guys. I can't remember their names,
Yeah.
but they're really good.
So like.
So
Yep. Yep.
I would say honestly, I'm going to share something with you that I wasn't going to share. Like
Oh,
I'm
okay.
literally going to give
Thanks.
your viewers. I'm going to give your viewers a secret that I've been holding in my back pocket
Oh
since
wow.
I got the Orc Codex.
Oh wow.
All right, so I have an Orc mortal wound spam list that's just based upon throwing out as many mortal wounds as possible. I think just on mathing it out, I haven't really tried it in practice. I can dish out around 15 to 20 mortal wounds a turn
Wow. That's
with
crazy.
orcs, and I only have one psyker in the list, so it's not psychic heavy.
Wow. That's epic. So you'd suggest
So
orcs.
I think that's going to be really strong.
So you would so take.
So the thing with orcs, right, is everybody was really confused with the orc codex, and that kind of goes back into yours and my specialty. We're not like I recently I've become friends with a lot of the people who run the tournaments, like the people that run Frontline Gaming and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I still don't go and watch their podcasts and stuff like that because I really don't want to be. I don't want my
Copying
mind
what they're doing. That's right. Yeah.
meta.
Yeah.
I want my like my bonus has always been that I'm outside of the meta and I try to figure out how to work around the meta.
Yeah. No, I'm the same.
So
and you know that. Yeah.
no one's really looked deep into orcs beyond the freebooters and such as that because of how easy the freebooters are.
Yeah.
Like freebooters are literally point and click, just like everything else is. And
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie, dude. I'm literally putting together a freebooter list now to take to Clutch City, which is going to be our first big tournament here in Texas, in March. Like I think it's going to be March 6th is the first day. It's going to be a Saturday and Sunday tournament. But so here's the list, man. It's all about the beast snaggers.
Yeah.
Right?
You sure you want to share it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share it, man. Like because I don't think anyone's going to play it.
Okay. All right.
It's not. Yeah. It's not point and click, is what I'm getting.
Okay, all right.
This is something you got to go in.
Yeah.
There's several orc units that have mechanics that allow them to deal mortal wounds. For instance, the War Boss in Megalon, right? The new one from the box set. It has a relic called the Crushing Armor. The Crushing Armor gives it a 2+4+ save. But the important thing is it deals mortal wounds on a charge.
Right.
The knobs on Smash Swigs deal mortal wounds on a charge, and they deal an egregious amount of mortal wounds on a charge. Same thing with some of the buggies. The custom boom blasters and the scrap jet, the Megatrack scrap jet, both of those do mortal wounds on a charge. There's a couple relics, other relics that give mortal wounds on a charge.
Right.
And that's my my whole idea, basically, man, is once the buggies have been beaten into the dirt, which it's gonna happen. It's already happened, kinda. Like we have restrictions on our buggies that no one else has any kind of restrictions even close to this. So, for instance, each buggy in your list, you can only have one unit of that buggy. And the key to making the freebooters so easy of a list to play was you were taking small units of these buggies. You're taking 1-man units instead of 3-man units.
Right.
So you can only have 3 rocket trucks at this point. And if you decide to use any of the vehicle upgrades, they're called custom jobs from the book. You pay points to add a bonus to your vehicle. So if you take the good Rucka Truck, which is the Rucka Truck with nitro squigs, it's basically a +1 to wound on your shots for that buggy. That means you can only take one squig buggy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it, and also the flyers kind of hurts us too. Only being able to take 2 flyers per list instead of multiple flyers. So that list is gonna kind of die out. They're probably gonna, in chapter approved, it's very likely that the buggies are going to go up 15 to 20 points per buggy.
Yep.
Which isn't out of the way, but once you add that to the other nerfs that the buggies got, it's just going to be, you don't have enough to do what you need to do. So I'm going to switch from that to this new list that I've been telling you about, which is going to be Squig Hog Boys. Okay, I'm going to take 2 max squads of Squig Hog Boys with the Beast Boss on Squigosaur and the Pain Boss in one detachment.
Mm.
And when you take the Squig Hog Boys, you get the knives on Smasha Squigs without taking up a slate. So you take that in a patrol. So you take two squads of those guys, just whatever troop you want. Your Beast Boss on Squigosaur and your other guy, your Pain Boss is what it's called. It's like it's a Beast Snagger version of the I don't remember what the thing's called, like the
that's all right. That's fine. Yeah.
He moves really fast is the point. But he's not the point. And you run those as snake bites because that turns all of your squig units basically into blood angels. They get the same blood angel bonuses for charging and plus bonuses to wound and all that good stuff, which is awesome. That puts them above where they need to be. And then I run a bunch of trucks with Beast Snagger Boys, the Mech Boss, and everything like that in another unit, and make those guys. What's one? Gazgul's clan.
It's Blood Moon, I think.
Goss.
Goss. I can't remember.
Yeah. Sixes on those guys.
Yeah, cool.
And it's just that's going to be what I'm going to play next. The key to the game is always for orcs is the same as Blood Angels. The same reason I like Blood Angels so well and White Scars and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's speed.
Yes,
getting in their face before they have a chance to be
100%. And Reckon Face in Melee and 9th edition, from what I've seen, and correct me if I'm wrong. I've been playing 30k a lot last year, but correct me if I'm wrong. But it's still a very melee focused game. Yeah, 9th edition.
Yeah, and that was a lot of the reason why the AdMech and the freebooters orcs got as high as they did.
Yeah, speed
because it brought shooting back. It brought it back really good.
Okay, sweet. All right. So Blood Angels are always going to be good as well because they're going to be close combat. But fantastic.
I'm sorry that I not only did I betray the Imperium, but I betrayed the Blood Angels. I got out of Blood Angels and went into orcs, man. I went in whole hog.
Do you think it was worth it? Like, do you regret it? Are orcs performing for you? It sounds like they are.
Well, I haven't played that many games with the orcs yet. I've only got about as of today, I've got 9 games in total. But I'm 8-1. I've only lost once since I started playing orcs, and I've beaten some of the best. And I'm just gonna go ahead and throw out there, I am not playing a freebooters list. I don't have the units for it yet. I've been playing basically the combat patrol box added to a Beast Snagger box and 2 extra sets of Beast Snagger Boys with 1 jet, 1 Daka jet, and a battle wagon with the meat grinder thing, the bone breaker.
Death Roller.
I think it's called Death Roller.
Death Roller. Yeah, squish him under the Death Roller. Yeah. Don't know what to.
And I have been just wrecking faces with that. So once I get the list that I actually want, the one that the couple that I've been talking to you about, just gonna murder people, man. It's gonna be crazy.
That's amazing.
I expect to get my first my first top 10 finish in a big tournament here at Clutch with orcs. I expect it at this point.
That's amazing.
I've been playing some of the best players in Texas. I've got friends on. It's Team Texas. I know we're Texans. We're super into Texas. It's just how it is.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've beaten some of the best players on Team Texas. I've played some of the best people in the ITC. Like, I'm just gonna say that I have faith in the orcs myself currently right
Yeah,
now. I
100%.
miss having my Blood Angels. I kind of miss having them, but it's kind of like a breakup, man. If I would have kept the army, I would have just went back to the army.
Yeah.
So I had to get rid of the army.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the same way of playing too. So at least Orcs is fresh, it's new, it's exciting, it's more fun. Like, you know, because Blood Angels, like, they're awesome. Don't get me wrong, and I'll probably even play them next year. I'm thinking, but they're, you know, they're kind of really, they're just playing.
Blood Angels for me I always had, like, there was always a brick wall for me to hit when I played Blood Angels.
Yeah,
Blood Angels are very good. I still think they're very strong.
I still think
very strong.
Yeah, I still think
I think
so.
that they have the best named character in Space Marines right now with Dante. He's absolutely the best chapter master on the board.
Yeah.
That's, to be fair, I haven't seen a lot of Black Templars yet.
Well, I've heard Black
Templars
Templars
are actually doing really well.
I know. I've heard that High
they're
Marshal
doing really well with a really fluffy list.
Yeah, that High Marshal Hellbrit or whatever. Apparently, he's wrecking face. Is insane. He's like the only named character that's like in the top 3 or 5 that's not like a Jukari or. So
yeah, well, I'd still say that Dante would probably wreck him.
Yeah, Dante's solid as man.
Yeah.
Because what I'm thinking,
I'm not talking in the lore either, man. I'm talking on the table.
No, I know that. No, it's not talking about. No, I know.
And I played him.
Yeah.
I played him in a castle too.
Yeah.
Like I literally, the last Blood Angel list that I had, I only had, the last Blood Angel list I had, I only had 10 individual models, 2 units of 5 that had less than a 14-inch move. So. Like I was playing Dante's Flying Castle with that. And I was doing pretty well up until at the Lone Star Open, my first day at the Lone Star Open, I played 3 of my nemesis in a row.
Right.
And that was Death Guard.
Yes.
Death Guard shuts me down completely as Blood Angels. And that's the Blood Angels' problems. If there's anything that can keep you from getting your benefits to charge, then you're just out of there, man.
That's right. It's like you got a brick wall. You got a brick wall, and you got to hit it. You got to smash that brick wall first turn. But if you don't, you're in trouble. What about the Death Guard's Feel No Pains? Is that an issue as well for Blood Angels, you think? Or is it more about just that minus charge factor for Blood Angels?
Well, so you don't get your Shock Assault. You don't get your Red Thirst. You don't get your Black Rage. Basically, everything that you take Blood Angels for, Death Guard turns off.
Oh, damn it. Okay. All right. So that sucks.
So that's... And especially in the Texas meta, you're going to see a lot of Death Guard players.
Yeah.
Like, people believe in their Death Guard. They like their piece aggressiveness.
Well, they're ranked on this list I've got here. They're ranked 11th. So, and it's an old codex as well. So they've got a 51% win rate, Death Guard. So it's really good.
To be completely fair, if I were in charge of GW, which thank God that I'm not, if I was the person that had to approve each codex, I would give them the 9th edition codex of Death Guard and say, okay, this is your primer. This is probably the best codex that they've released, the most balanced and the best. You know what I mean?
That's a massive
call,
Adonis.
Death Guard it's an old codex. It's as old as it's older than Blood Angel. No, it's not as old as Blood Angels, but it's pretty old.
It's old, yeah.
Blood Angels.
Yeah.
But it's still really good. Death Guard are still if you go to a tournament and you play against Death Guard, you might, even if you're playing Drukari, even if you're playing Freebooters, even if you're playing Admech, it doesn't matter who you're playing. You got to realize that you're playing that guy over there.
With Death Guard, it's that guy. Yeah, no, 100%. And I have been seeing that, man. Yep.
You remember how much I hated Tau?
Yeah, back in the days. Yeah.
Well, you know, honestly, Death Guard had me almost as triggered as Tau at that point.
Man,
and I had no one to accuse of cheating this time. You know what I mean?
It's funny.
Like, it wasn't just because someone was cheating me.
It's funny, going back to 8th edition, when I was 8th edition, I was playing a lot more. And I was playing Custodes, and man, Tau shut me down like so hard because of all their range. Like, this was before all the Forge World units got introduced to the game, like Custodes. Like, as you said, a lot of their power comes from the Forge World units, so it was just, we had a few troops. We had, I think there was like those new Aquilon Terminators, but it was very hard, except I think the only vehicle we really had to use that was unique was like the Land Raider. But anyway, and Tau, one of the guys I used to play with, Matt, heaps, he shut me down all the time because he was just smashing me with mortal wounds from his rocket pods, and they would get through, and then like all the shooting, by the time I got to him, it was over. But you know how I shut Tau down in 8th edition? Even then, Death Guard, man. Death Guard.
Yep.
Just literally just lobbing them with artillery from those Blight, I think they're called Blight. Where there's the tank, the artillery tanks, the ones at Mortarion, Blight Swarm, Crawlers or something like that. Yeah, man. They just lob them into Tau, man, and Death Guard Death Guard are strong. They were strong back then. They're just. I feel as though Death Guard, they're just a really good balanced army. They've got it where it counts, and they've just got a really epic baseline, exactly like what you just said.
Yeah, so Death Guard and Dark Angels are always on my list of people to watch when I play against them because they're really good.
Right.
Especially the Inner Circle Dark Angels.
Yep.
They're basically just like less gross versions of the Death Guard. They're nearly impossible to knock off the board. It's hard to take points from them. They're a headache to play against, and that's a good thing.
Right.
But Tau are going to be really dangerous coming up.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from Custodes because I don't know yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff happening with Custodes. Like, for instance, we didn't go over this. Like, the Talons of the Emperor are reunited in the Codex again. So,
right.
Like, if you look at that box set that they're I don't know if it's already released or it's about to be released.
The new one with that guy with a sword on the front or whatever, the Warden or whatever. Yeah.
That's a way better model, way better looking. Second. What I was getting at is Sisters of Silence, I think they're called.
Yep, Sisters of Silence.
Troop units for they have a troop unit option for them. So they now the Custodes have like cheap bodies to throw on points.
Yep.
Well, cheap as compared to Custodes. A lot of changes with them. Like the main problem with them always ends up being, to me, is their main units are those big dreadnoughts. I think they're called Telemons.
Yeah,
that's a Forge World unit. It's price prohibitive and hard to get your hands on right now.
Sure. Well, for me, So for me, what I'm thinking, let me know, because what I'm leaning towards, see, for Custodes for me, because I play 30k as well, like I have a lot of stuff painted. I've got all the Forge World stuff, like literally. I think I'm missing that big fly or whatever. I can't remember what it's called on the top of my head, but everything I've got, like, man, like 4 Telemons, 4 of this war. I've got a fair bit of stuff. So bikes as well. So what I was thinking of going with a mix, like a split army next year of either Custodes and Blood Angels or Black Templar and Custodes. What do you reckon about that? What would you do? What would you go with? Black Templar or yeah? I don't want to play Orcs. I understand they're strong and 100%. Yep.
Oh yeah, I understand that. That. So the problem with mixing armies these days is anything with a new codex, they lose all of their special rules if you put them in with something else, with the exception of like Agents of the Imperium keywords. So like Inquisitors and Assassins can go into basically an Imperium army without taking away their doctrines or whatever that makes them special. So if you're going to take Space Marines with your Custodes, you need to make sure that that's not going to like, make them less than the sum of their parts.
Well, I heard there's another rumor that's popped out too. People are saying that Custodes are going to be losing their +1 to their invul save from their faction trait. So that's a rumor I've seen around the net here and there as well. I don't know how true that'll be, but if they do, I think that's going to...
there are very, very, very few 3-up invulnerable saves left in the game right now,
Yeah.
and those are usually only brief moments. So yeah, I expect them to lose their 3-up invulnerable saves,
Yeah.
just like everyone else did.
Okay, so
Something that you should really look into for every new codex.
yep.
It's happened to almost every codex so far. Is whatever made the army, like whatever their oomph was in the last edition, they've lost it or it's been changed really, really heavily.
Okay.
So, for instance, like divine push for the Black Templars, for instance.
Yeah, because that's the
got
other one I
changed
want to
really
play.
heavily.
Yeah. Okay.
I would if I were gonna play Marines and I were you,
Yep.
right now, Iron Hands, Dark Angels, and Black Templars.
Okay, so between those three, Iron Hands, Blood Angels, and Black Templars. Fantastic. Thanks so much for the advice, Adonis. I think I have a think about it. You know what? Adonis might just be, I'll just get my Blood Angels happening, man. Get back into painting them again. Be great, you know. Might be the go, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'll see what happens.
It could be. I mean, like,
because remember,
there's a lot worse things that you can do than having 30 sanguinary guard on the board.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Now, the other question I had as well. So, talking about the tower, we're talking about how powerful tower going to be, and I tend to agree with your prediction, but then I'm looking at the rumors of the World Eaters. Now, I'm thinking, Adonis, if this is true, could the World Eaters, because World Eaters are a close quarter army, as you know, and I know right now Chaos Marines are dunking it in the meta. They're not doing really well at all. I know they've got a few tricks up their sleeves. They've got a few powerful units, but you know, from what I've been following the meta, people are saying they're not that good. Also on this list here, they're ranked like bottom tier or lower tier. And that's one of the reasons why I probably wouldn't play Alpha Legion, you know, with my Chaos next year. I'll do that 30k anyway. But I'm thinking, could the World Eaters, I'm thinking they're going to be brutal in 9th edition because they're a close combat oriented army, and that is what they do. Could you see a situation arise where we have World Eaters, so I keep calling them bloody Word Bearers, Word Eaters, offsetting Tau's competitiveness in their shooting? And I'm talking about Tau being this epic shooting army, and then you've got World Eaters who are this epic melee army, and you know, Tau do all this shooting, but like I could just see World Eaters just driving up in rhinos and then just popping out and just slamming them with like, you know, heaps of attacks. Could you see something like that? Probably like Angron, you know, rocking up. Do you think that's possible? Could you see something like that happening? Do you think World Eaters, if this does happen,
definitely possible.
Do you think they could be a top meta army? Do you think they could be a threat to Tau? Or do you think that the stuff that you've seen from Tau is just that pimped up that they've got it in the bag?
Well, I'll put it like this, man. The only loss that I've had in the last 9 games is Corn Demons. So if World Eaters are similar to Corn Demons, then yeah, they're going to be killer. Give them their 2 wounds. Give them their melee buffs that they're definitely going to get and stuff like that. Give them the speed that they need to get in there on the Tau.
That will be the
another thing that I would put up against the Tau is so when they limited us to 2 flyers, in my mind they actually kind of did the game did people who play with flyers a favor. Now you kind of have to think about it for a certain degree,
right?
And World Eaters should be able to take those same fire drakes, shouldn't they? Those dragon jet things.
Oh, the
flamers.
Are they're called fire drakes? You mean the flying dragon things? Hell drakes. Fire drakes are 30k salamander terminators. Yeah, no, I forgot as well. I actually did sum up for my Alpha Legion in 30k. Yeah. That's them. We know what we're talking about. The Hell Drakes. Yeah.
I think that would be probably a really strong counter to a gun line because it's gonna, they're still only hitting 4s without marker lights.
Yeah.
So that means they're gonna hit your fire drakes on 5s, your Hell Drakes or whatever they're called. If I'm remembering correctly,
yep.
They're demon forged, so they have a good save. yeah, that would also, that's the good, that's the distraction slash damage that you need in the beginning to get yourself into close quarters with them.
Right, right. Fair
So
enough.
yeah, Angron, if Angron's released, he's going to be super strong,
He will be.
but he's only going to be. I I wouldn't put too many ducks in the Angron basket.
No.
He's going to be a darn good model, just like Magnus is,
Yeah,
but you don't see Magnus.
that's
Yeah,
right.
there's he's Mortarian's good, but you see Mortarian more than any of the other big named monster Primarch esque units like that. But we figured out the counter to Morty was to just ignore him.
Yeah,
It'd be the same thing with Angron. He can only kill so many things
at
in
once.
one combat phase.
That's right. And
You know,
look, the other thing is too, Adonis. I remember doing a Angron is coming rumor video in 2018, and it still hasn't come. And there was like, oh, people seen the model, and they, and it still hasn't come. So I understand that there's a lot of rumor going out about World Eaters, and it could make sense because there will be a lift to the Chaos Codex and that. But, we've had that before where the Chaos have had a release and we were expecting Angron, and instead we got like, that Chaos Marine Captain or whatever on the jump pack with the spear. I can't remember his name now. Lord Ark,
yeah,
Harkon the world breaker, yeah. So look, it was just something I just want to ask your opinion on because I'm, usually.
To be honest, I would much rather the rumor engine. You've seen the Advent calendar, I'm sure, with the Eldar release and
Yeah,
the Eldar stuff.
yeah,
The first half,
I saw a bit
and
of
then
that.
the
Yeah.
second half so far has been all chaos. I would much rather that be a World Eaters release than a pure chaos release.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think you'll see Agron until the World Eaters get a release specifically themselves. Do you know what I
Gotcha,
mean?
gotcha,
Like till they get a codex, I don't feel like they're going to put a Primarch in a basic codex. Like
gotcha.
Gilliman's in Ultramarines, not in Codex Space Marines.
Yeah. So you reckon Gilliman's off the shelf a bit? I've heard he's a bit meh. I heard he's a bit because they nerfed him.
I haven't seen Gilliman on a table in so long that I kind of forgot what he looks like.
Same actually. I
The
mean,
last Primarch I saw on the table was Mortarian, and I think that's there's so much stuff that you can put in for the points cost of Mortarian, and the game isn't about meat grinder anymore. It's all about doing your side missions and the main mission.
yeah,
And Mortarian's an awesome model, but he's not scoring mission points.
that's right. And you can only be in the one place at the one time. That's the thing. So
I mean, I'm playing orcs, and I have one of the coolest looking models that you can use in Gazgol,
yeah.
right?
Oh, he's awesome.
And I'm playing orcs where point cost isn't that big of a deal because orcs are dirt cheap.
Yeah,
But I still have yet to find a way to justify putting the 300 points it costs to run Gazgol in the army.
yeah,
Like he's just too many points for what I get out of it.
yeah.
I've talked to Necron players; they have the same problem with the Silent King. Like he's a great model, he's awesome, but like he can't win the game for you anymore.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, Adonis, look, thank you so much. Is there anything else you wanted to add? In regards to.
Well, I mean, like I think that everybody that's listening should always remember that the army is a big bonus to what you can do on the table. Who you're playing is a big bonus, but you're the person playing the army.
That's right.
And if you know your army pretty well, any given Sunday, anybody can beat anybody else. So just because and GW's actually gotten a lot better than I've heard they've been in the past. We're getting a lot more stuff. Like for Eldar are almost getting an entire line refresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, we are.
Your models are coming eventually. The stuff that you want to see is coming eventually. All the codexes, even the bad codexes, air quote, have been pretty strong at least for the first few months.
Yeah.
You're gonna get your time in the sun, and as long as you know how to play your army, and you know what your opponent is doing, and you've got a good chance of winning. Like we were saying earlier, even knights are have gotten a refresh to a certain degree.
Definitely.
So it's more about the player than it is the army. The army is just like when you're talking about like the best of the best of the best. If Steven and I play, if Steven's playing Drukari and I play Ultramarines, that's the edge that he needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, gotcha. All right, man. Well, look, thank you very much, Adonis. Thank you for coming onto the channel. And there you have it, everybody. The only Adonis. Competitive and professional.
All right, thanks, guys.
Warhammer
Thanks
players.
for having me, man.
Thank you so much, man. And we'll catch up again soon. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Or drop us a comment down below if you enjoyed the content. Merry Christmas, everybody. See you in the next video.